Oh wow, it's live already. Okay, we're going to check this out. Maybe I have to zoom back out a bit. I don't know. I'm trying to get it set up for you, trying to bring it to you people. Doing the best I can. We shall see. Maybe I'll zoom out a bit even. Right about there. Found a good place to set it anyhow, right in front of the radio. Okay, people, so here's what's going on. They I'll give a few minutes for some people to get into the room. But what happened was a family finally come forward, or was allowed to. I'm sure they came forward from day one. But just like I said, people need, they need their medications to be kept cool in the refrigerator, and that could kill them if they take them when they're bad. It could make them sick, or they could just die of their illness because it doesn't work. They could not have cold insulin. That could kill them. Or like this situation, a man died because when they cut off the power, he had a oxygen machine that ran off of power, and a lot of times they have backup portable ones, but those have to be charged up. They run off of a battery pack. So yeah, so I'm gonna get through this, by the way, without reading comments, because I got some stuff going on. I got you there, Roger. So Robert, so here's the thing. Okay, the family came forward, and they even brought the question to the governor, and I didn't want to put the governor's face up here and make it that in any way I'm trying to show bad light on him or nothing. This is a private entity and stuff, and he's trying to work with him. I got no problem with him, or I didn't want it to be like if he's had his head sideways or something. It was the main shot, so I used this one right here. But the video that I'm fixing to play you is the governor answering the question about the man dying. And also, I've got to name this video. I got to be able to rename the whole video. Yeah, they're not gonna. Well, they don't back you for what you don't pay. Well, because he died. Oh my God, no, man. I'm saying though that also they're not going to pay for your groceries. They're not going to pay for anything that was lost. They've already lawyered up against that, and they know. And they say traditionally they don't or whatever. But look, this is a week long that people are going to lose all their food in their fridge. I mean, I'm sure they're going to lose some even if they had a gas power generator. The gasoline will run out. Okay. Most food is perishable, so they're not going to pay. I got to change the name of this whole video and add that to it. It wouldn't let me make the video, but for so long. But they're going to not pay. They're not going to pay for groceries and stuff, and they've said it on the news 4 different places. I've got a playlist that I'm going to make public at some point, but I'll put those links in the description for the ones that are relevant to this video on the truth about the PG&E shutdown, and it was before any kind of power. If that guy had been given some kind of warning, a lot of people didn't get warnings, and then they cut off ham radio. So I've got to add ham radio to this video, and they also cut the power, and that guy died, and then also they're not going to pay for groceries. So I'm going to rename the video when I'm done. They'll allow me to add words to the video once it's dropped. So starting with this, though, they're going to talk about, I'm going to go into this right quick and let the governor talk about the guy that died, where he was questioned. Actually, let's start out with this first, because this will clarify anybody thinking they're going to get reimbursed. This is a very succinct video on that. I'll run it through, and then I'll get to the governor being asked questions about the guy that died. So check this out here. Let's play this.
Asking us if they're going to be able to get any money back from PG&E for costs associated with these power shutoffs. The short answer is no. PG&E has a policy of not reimbursing customers for losses during public safety power shutoffs. A PG&E spokesperson told us
they're going to pay for my groceries
for safety,
no, they're
typically do not reimburse for claims. She also told us people are welcome to submit a claim.
Yeah,
and
that's what they said in another video. You can submit claims all you want, but they're not going to pay you a dime.
on a case-by-case basis. Still, history teaches us not to get our hopes up. After the wine country fires in 2017, 147 claims were filed. 102 were for food loss, 25 for business impact, and 19 for property damage. PG&E rejected all those claims. They do operate a safety net program to reimburse customers who go without power for more than 48 hours due to a severe weather event. Payments range from $25 to a max of $100.
Yeah, hold tight. So my thoughts on this are, except unless you die, because they cut off the ability for you to breathe because you have an oxygen machine, an oxygen maker, and you died, you can't even submit a claim then. So, you know,
lost off. But they say these PSPS events don't count. Even then, this only applies to residential customers, not businesses. They do have a service guarantee program which will pay customers $30 if they weren't notified 3 days ahead of time. But guess what? This doesn't apply to serious emergencies or conditions that affect safety. So you still might want to consider filing a claim, but just know history and policy is not on your side.
Here's what they're going to lean on. They're going to say that because the power was, they were told by law in the bankruptcy they filed, PG&E, that the judge ordered them to be more, aggressive about, hey, we will cut off the power. So because they were ordered by a judge, they're going to just turn and look at him and say, blame him. And then it's a big circle. You can't sue the county, the city, and no one's going to get their money for their groceries. Forget about it. You're not going to get money for anything. And that guy that died, he could probably have a wrongful death, lawsuit against him, but that's yet to be determined. I'm going to show this. I mean, it just happened, but, and they cut off the hams, and that's what kills me too, is I've told before in videos, I'll put a link up to an old one I did. Ham radios is the reason that a lot of people knew what was going on in the Yucatan Peninsula when we had the tsunami, and all those people were flooded and were, they were in trouble. A lot of them needed medical help. Our military didn't even have the communications to get in touch with them and didn't know what was going on. A friend of mine, Music Man, who was a ham radio operator but also worked a CB shop down in Georgia, he passed away. He used his powerful equipment to relay, like a repeater tower, to relay information from our military that he was picking up stuff from Indonesia, and he got in touch with them and says, hey, something's going on. I need help on this. He told them what was going on, or they would not have known as quickly as they did, and they couldn't communicate except through him. So he was repeating what they said. He was relaying information, just like a CB radio. That's why I tell drivers, get a CB radio. But they've now made it so you can't have a repeater. It started in this place, I forget the name of the town, but I wrote it down, that this one woman, I guess somebody told her she'd save money if she got rid of the ham repeaters. But it all started in Shingletown, California, that a woman out there who was, I don't even think she was an elected official, but she had a job, and they cut the ability to even house repeaters that cost no money to California at all. That was owned by the people who were part of that club. It was just equipment. They own their own powerful radios at their house, and they needed repeater towers in different places, and instead of owning the land, they gave them a place to house it. They said, well, we don't want to house it. It was costing them nothing. Okay, fine. So they said they're not going to support it because there's new technology. In all the last fires, they lost all their technology. In this one, there's a guy in line getting fuel that he doesn't have a cell phone service anymore because they cut it off, and T-Mobile had no service, he says, and they haven't brought in any kind of a mini tower, emergency towers or nothing yet, and they probably won't. It's going to be at least 5 days. So you don't even have the ability to call 911. But there's been people who, in the past, they have weather networks all over this nation. They're usually ex-military, and it's going on without you knowing about it, that ham operators do a weather net. It's a check every once in a while in case everything goes down. They can, try that, but it's also practice for giving out real information. There's been sheriffs and all kinds of people, state patrol, that have listened in during these fires at the same time while they're on duty, listen into the ham to get information, to know what's going on, and to help people when the phones are down, okay? Ham has always been the bridge between public and government, and it's been for the good of the people. So for them to cut off and say the whole state of California is not going to support repeater towers, and that they have no use for ham is a lie, because right now there's no cell phone service. You can't call 911. Okay, they had a reverse 911 set up through the ham repeater towers. Ham repeater towers can be used as a phone patch, okay, if you're a member of the club, and I appreciate the like. So we need hams. God bless them for being old and not wanting to go be on a cruise ship somewhere and go to, well, Truckee Stuff Island when I built it, somewhere, and get away from it all and had enough of the world and spend a retirement doing that. They're doing things for the betterment of the community. We need to lift up people who help the community. That's all I'm going to say about the ham thing. I'll put a link up to a guy who is a ham, who did a video. He's out in California. I'll put up a link in the description, and give it some time. You have to listen. He talks a little slow at first, but you get about halfway through the video, he really gets into it, talks about the guy who actually defended the case. But I knew about this. Whatever. That makes me angry, because I've got friends, a lot of people I know. CB radios is one way to go, but ham saves people's lives when you don't even know lives are being saved. And they're like, how did you know I needed help? Well, because somebody on the other side of a mountain radioed that they must be in trouble too. So I appreciate the like. Support your ham, people. Hey, you want to support something? I don't have no way to support this channel yet. Find somebody who's a member of a club of hams out in California. See if they can get help to maybe privatize, get it up, buy a small piece of land. I don't know, whatever they got to do to get towers up. They'll save lives. They've saved lots of lives in all the past emergencies when they had no 911 systems, when everything's burnt to a crisp, including the patrol cars, some of them, whatever burns up out there. And they've got ham, just like when the tsunami hit. So I'm going to get in this video. I'm going to hit this other one real quick and get through this. Let's see, would they actually reimburse? We already went through that. This is the governor. And like I said, it's going to be real fast to get him up here. Okay, good.
With the organization of getting these settlements.
First, he's talking about the bankruptcy.
And then continue.
Now he's going to talk about the guy who's going to be questioned about the man that died.
And make sure we hold them to account. But at the same time, do it in a way where we don't just turn this thing over to the sharks, you know, that are all about ROI
trying to move
and
this
not
over.
about you and I,
all right.
as it relates to the best interest of the state.
Governor, after the shutoffs, a gentleman out of the Public Pines who relied on an auction machine, he passed away after the shutoffs. The El Dorado Sheriff, they're investigating if his family believes it is because of the shutoffs.
It's devastating beyond words. And losing a family member is horrific. And to the extent this was the reason why, I hope that is investigated, and I hope those responsible are held to account. I mean, that's devastating.
PG&E.
We did everything in our power to try to help supplement our efforts around that. I appreciate the fact that there is investigation.
Here's the problem
more
too.
About the details.
They gave no warning to a lot of people, and if you think I'm kidding, they're going to say, "Oh, well, we gave some warning here," or maybe there's a website. Look, people, I'm not lying to you. There's people that were in line for gas, talking about it was like going to be 3 hours. They were already there 2 hours, and they were saying straight up, look, we had no warning. There was people at their houses that their neighbors were doing little YouTube videos, and they're like, man, they gave me no warning at all. I didn't have a clue this was going on. It's because there's not a text system set up. I mean, there's an emergency from the government. You remember the presidential thing that happened. They need a text system for that out there. They don't have it. I guess California's bankrupt anyhow and doesn't have it. Well, they need to at least leave the hams alone. If the hams had been, hey, on the computer, and one of them goes to another and says, tell everybody on your side of the mountain that this is going on and they're going to shut off your power tomorrow, believe it or not, even though there's not high winds yet. Just like on the other video, I showed the picture of the winds. Everybody's like, where's the wind? Okay, I'll get into the dump truck fire in a minute. One report said garbage truck, one said dump truck. They can't get it straight. I think that's one of them. Boy, that reeks of false flag, whether you believe it or not. I'm not into that kind of, I don't lend myself to that. But anyway, so let him finish talking about this here.
The medication abortion advocates are looking at your past rhetoric on reproductive rights,
They're getting into something else. I will get on this other video of the News 10. There was a guy I put this in a playlist too. There was a guy that's the ham operator guy that was mad. I'm going to put that link in the description. Let's see here. I don't even want to show them asking PG&E. This is the dude doing lines for gas video. This was pretty good, I think.
Good morning, Carlos Herrera here in Nevada City. When we talk about power shutoffs, we usually tend to focus sometimes on the impact that people will have at their homes or business owners as well.
Pissed.
This is a gas station in the city of Nevada City, actually, just along Highway 49. Take a look. It's one of the 2 gas stations here that
There's
is
only 2 open.
Take a look.
The rest of them are closed.
No, right? It's open. Good thing. Take a look here. This line, guys,
it's a mile long.
Really stretches as far as we can see. An hour.
There's only gaps because they're letting people through the walk driveways.
This line of cars wraps around, I'd say about a mile.
It's over a mile.
People literally park here. Hey, hello, sir, you've been here? Just visiting? How long have you been waiting in line? 2 hours. Wow, not the vacation you were planning? Wow, so what now? You're just gonna stay here and wait? Wow. Are you spending the weekend here, or what's going? Southern California. Wow, crazy week, right, for Northern California. No power. Wow. So he's been in line again. He's kind of towards the end of this wait. But again, an hour and a half people waiting. Now, definitely an inconvenience, but people really have no other choice. They either fill up here, they wait in line and gas up, or they're forced to drive at least 20 miles to the next gas station. A lot of people upset about it. A lot of people.
Infrastructure that can't stand up the wind. Is that the problem? Tell me what the problem is.
Were you,
do this without paying us for all our losses.
Were you prepared for this?
Money loss. All the grocery stores that lose their stuff. How the hell do they have the authority to do this? Who are they anyway? Some conglomerate that controls the world, our world?
Do you live here, sir?
Yeah, I live here. I don't like it.
How long have you been without power?
Since yesterday, about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
He talks about the cell phone service with T-Mobile, but all of them are like that. They're all out.
All right, sir. Good luck.
On top of it, cell phone doesn't work because T-Mobile is tied up with PG&E and doesn't have the backup generators for their goddamn cell towers. So I haven't had a cell phone for 2 days.
Excuse his language. Hey, you know what I'm saying? He had to even back away from it.
There you go. There's a lot of frustration here from folks. Of course, that's understandable. They've been without power since for about two days now. People are stuck here waiting in line. They literally park.
They're saying it's 5 days.
There are only
I've heard
about,
as much as 7.
6 pumps at this gas station here. We're off of Highway 49, one of the 2 gas stations in town. You either wait and gas up here, or you're forced to drive at least 20 miles to the nearest gas station. I'll continue to walk here to show you just how long this line is. Sir, kind of frustrated?
Well, the biggest frustration is that we're moving this side, 1 car every 5 over on that side. Somebody has made this because there's no thinking about what's been done here. The common sense level of this is backwards. I mean, they should be able to see the wait a minute. We're moving too many on that side. These guys have been. I've been here for almost 3 hours now. And I have watched these people move up here. 5 cars or 1. And we still have to go up there and outside. And of course, 90% of this is on PG&E. This is ridiculous. There isn't a damn bit of wind in this country. And PG&E has shut us down.
You have no other choice, right, than to wait here.
No, we have no other choice, but PG&E needs to get there, and I'm going to use the term head out of their butts. Because this is ridiculous. They don't need to be shutting our power off because there's no air. There's no wind here.
Yeah. So check this out. All right. And they got businesses, all those closed up. All right. Now, the cell phones being down, you could charge all you want, and you're not going to get service. They said that later they may bring in some mini towers, and they did that down at Hurricane Katrina when I was down there helping out on that. But in the meantime, there's towns next door. Now, they're cherry picking where they're cutting off anyhow because it's all about money. Even Atomic News talked about that. I did see that video. It's like this, though. They were talking about the Kardashians. Look, The Kardashians ain't going to have gas. They don't have to go nowhere, but you ain't going to see them lose power. And if you had power on your phone, you could probably tune into their show. The only thing I think that would be, if they had lost power, would be that they'd come up with an idea for the show. Hey, let's act like we lose power. They're going to have power. Okay, all the Starbucks and all that, those places up in, the richer areas are going to have their lattes. Okay, they're going to have their lattes, or somebody might complain. So it's all about where the money's at too. They put off, and they're not cutting off the main transmission lines that caused the fire anyhow. There was a comment that I put up that I took off another channel. They've got people that are saying that PG&E was working on the lines, and that's when they caused the fire, not because there was high winds that blew them down or blew something to them or something, right? They're so high up, it ain't like a tree limb's going to cross them. But they also don't have the right-of-ways cut where there's tree limbs on regular power transmission lines that are smaller ones that just a regular power pole, the 880, 440, So anyways, and the numbers, the real true numbers these are saying 600,000. I wanted to find one that said in the millions, because here we go, millions in the dark. This guy is finally admitting to it's like close to 3 million, because 3 people in each household.
This is breaking news on Morning Blend.
This was, I don't know.
I don't see the purpose of it. I really don't.
I don't want to sit in 5 days in a house trying to figure things to do in the dark.
It's not fun. Power's been off since 12:30 last night. We've got 60 pounds of ice.
They've created these conditions. It was unnecessary. Now it's time for them to do the right thing.
Millions of people in the dark for a second day.
You can't even
People
buy
are
food.
peeved. PG&E
But your
has cut
food
the
goes
power
bad.
to more than 630,000 customers. Let's check the outage map. Every purple dot, a community without power, but we're learning 50,000 customers in the foothill area have had their power cut. And many of the people have been in the dark since midnight Wednesday.
Yeah, it's a long time. PG&E is doing this in some pretty dangerous fire weather. There's a lot of wind, there's no humidity, and that means fires can start and then spread.
They're talking there's not wind, but okay, look, check this out. Also, I wanted to bring this up. I'm not sure at what point in this area exactly the fire started. There was one report said it was in one place, one said it was another. One person said it was a garbage truck that picked up something that was on fire, which is kind of stupid. Another said that it was a dump truck hauling stuff, I guess that was garbage, to a dump or to whatever, and dumped the load because it was on fire. That, if that happened, that seems like someone did something on purpose. I'm telling you. And then there was a tractor. These are the only fires I've heard about. There was a tractor that they said a farmer had a problem with a tractor and it caught on fire. I'm having a hard time believing that, especially because a lot of the tractors are diesel, and also no farmer to speak of, no tractor to speak of. They didn't interview him and say, hey, look, it happened here, and here's my farm, and I'm sorry for it. Nothing happened to show proof. You can't show me a farmer and you can't show me a tractor. I'm saying don't blame it on a farmer and a tractor. You can't tell me what the deal was with a dude picking up garbage into a dump truck and somehow magically it catches on fire, and it ain't from driving down the road, because contrary to what they want you to believe, wind doesn't cause a fire. You got to have a spark and you got to have fuel. Wind is an oxygenator, maybe at the most, right? So how'd you get the fire in the first place? Tell me who puts something on fire in the back of a dump truck. Tell me who dumps it when they know. He should have just let the thing sit there and had them put it out in the dump truck. No, let's take this fire somewhere else and catch the whole place on. That's what happened. That's what happened. Call me crazy. Tell me something different. I'd like to see something that I would believe, because you're not going to make me believe that somebody's going to take something that's on fire and say, hey, we're in a bad fire zone. Everybody knows about the problem. Let's pull the PTO on the dump and dump this thing right here where it will go everywhere. Okay? So, all right. So we went over the ham repeater towers. They lost their repeaters, which is dumb, but maybe the ARRL will help them. They're in control of the ham stuff. Maybe they'll help them with that. But California just made a mistake. Maybe they need to undo that mistake. As far as the fires, there was a couple of them. Like I said, one was supposedly a tractor. I don't believe it. One was supposedly a dump truck. and maybe the other one was a garbage truck. If there's two of those, that seems eerily similar to each other and kind of stupid. I don't believe either one of them. And then as far as the firefighters are fighting it, and there's a guy who was showing it live. He is an airline pilot. I'll put a link up to his little video. He was showing a live thing. Not sure, man. The whole state basically that they're shutting down power. And you're talking about 3 million to more. Okay, they said 800,000 customers, and they're looking at shutting down another 500,000 is what I heard. But let's just go with the 800,000 customers. One house, one bill. Okay, how many people are in a house? Well, I said conservatively, very, very conservatively, because this is California, right? You can have 15 people in a house. Well, let's say conservatively, you're talking 2 adults and 1 child, because even the national average is 2.5 per household, 2.5 kids, 3 basically. So let's just go with the 1 child and 2 parents. That's 3. If there's 800,000 bills, multiply that times 3. 2,400,000. I'm saying it's rocking on 3 million. And then they're talking about adding another 500,000 customers, not people, customers. 5 times 3 is another 1.5 million. So the numbers are ridiculously high. All the stores are closed. And unless you've got a gate around your place and money and all that stuff, and a show on television, yeah, they're going to cut your power, and you're not going to have the money to reel from it. So you lost all your food. You can't go to, you got to go to neighboring towns, which are a long ways away. But how are you going to find a neighboring town with power when you're looking at this? It's like, well, that's the neighboring town. Well, they're out of power too. You see what the problem is with this even map showing this, you know? So we'll play this for another second here.
That's what we're worried about. An area of fire breaking out in an area next to room to grow.
Worried about that.
That's exactly what happened, but hopefully a good story there. At least that's what we're hearing so far. But we're not done, because there could be a brand new fire at any moment. The winds are still strong.
21 miles, 18
miles. Continue
miles.
in the strong category through the rest of this morning. But I want to fast forward to the moment we're starting to see things get better, not worse. By this afternoon, certainly for the valley spots, things start to slow down. And for the higher elevations, we are seeing the same ultimate result. So by the time we get to Friday, things are much, much better. However, just so you know, red flag warning conditions extended in the valley till 9 p.m. Yesterday I was saying 5 p.m. In the valley, it's until 9. And for the Sierra foothills, officially until Friday, 10 o'clock in the morning. So another long, windy night for those areas. So we'll keep you updated here on the weather and some of the changes in the forecast. But again, that close call in Moraga, that was a nightmare potential unfolding, and thankfully they got a handle of it early. But there's no guarantees for anything else.
And I don't know where this dude's at.
The weather, the seriousness.
But every once in a while they talk about wind somewhere or whatever. But this dude here, his suit ain't blowing. He's outside. I ain't seen that. You know, I don't know what's going on with this stuff. So I'm gonna show one more thing, then I'm gonna get out of here. If I could find that other link, but I'll put some links up. You guys can check it out. And let's see. It was one that I watched here, and they were talking about the homeless in San Francisco and that kind of stuff. And you know, let's see here. That's Bloomburg even talked about it, but ABC 10, San Bruno Mountain on fire. Maybe this was the one that they were showing. This is San Bruno Mountain. Let me see if this was. This is on October 10th. This is yesterday. This was a 3-alarm brush fire. I think this was the one that was the tractor. And I'll play this and then I'm going to get out. So, people, got a helicopter up on the ridge. They were putting out one with aerial planes and stuff. There was a guy who was doing a live, though, on it. I'm not going to show his, but I'll put the link to it. Let's see if something here is. Let's see. Man. Did this stop? Why is it showing I'm live and my camera has stopped? Look at what it did to me. Can you hear my voice? I don't even know if the audio is good. Hang on a second here. Man, let me try something real quick. There we go. I don't know what that was about. So I had to redo that. Could have been when I plugged up the power that there's a problem with that power line. I'm having a problem with my power too. So this is where they were fighting that brush fire. Let's see if I can plug this up and make it happy. Let's see if this works. Okay, appreciate that. Yeah, so I had audio. It did something. It killed out my camera, and then I had to reverse camera and put it back. Yeah, I got you. So, all right, so the audio on this is really low, but they're showing the planes that dropped in stuff. There's a guy who was showing the actual fire where they were dropping stuff, and like I was saying, he's an airline pilot, former military. He's into, because he grew up with fire suppression tanks and stuff in aviation. This is a kind of odd piece of aviation, you know, dropping fuel and stuff. Sorry, not fuel. Dropping fire suppression stuff. It's mixed with clay, basically. Anything that, it's a little bit heavier than water too. But he was doing a live on it. I'll put a link to his, but this was from, I'm not sure what started this fire. So that maybe that's like 3 fires. And they said this one was near transmission lines, but kind of appreciate that. Yeah, so kind of like odd that they cut off the power before there was an event, and definitely it killed one guy because of it. Yeah, and they're showing the helicopter there and the tanks. They actually had to lower those legs on the helicopter. It was like some of that suppression stuff was giving them trouble with with engines and stuff. That's just a 360 on the camera while he's turning to keep it straight on the fire. But anyhow, if you're in California, I hope that it doesn't have a real bad problem burning things up. But I'll be honest with you, it's the power loss that, for them to be able to just kill it on you like that. Does it mean that if you live in California that you're going to have money saved up, that you're going to have to be uber rich, that this is a cost that you have to eat every year? I'm sure they're not going to let you write it off on your taxes, and I'm sure that they're not going to reimburse the people because PG&E has already lawyered it up. And basically they're saying, since they didn't say this part, but this is why, since the judge ordered them under the bankruptcy that if anything else happens to cut power, but they're not cutting the transmission lines anyways. This is what actually caught on fire, was these transmission lines when somebody was working on one, and it burned up the whole town of Paradise, and they know they were liable, so they went for the bankruptcy. So if they've got to cut off power, they made it in the writing, I guess, that hey, that we're not liable for anything because we were told to do it by a judge. Nobody's got the money to pay for a lawyer $3,500 most cases to fight for groceries that cost you $100 to $300 worth of groceries, So I showed, hey, look, how to have a power inverter. And that's the thing too. They're talking about you can come to these little stations that are open 8 to 5 and have some air conditioning and charge a phone. Well, don't know that they're providing much food on that, but also here's the thing. If you got a laptop computer and you drive all the way down there, how much gas did it cost you to drive all the way up these mountains in these little communities to get down there? And then you can't buy gas to get back home. So that's why I was saying is once you fill up with gas, so you don't have to drive all the way there and come back. That's why I was saying it'd be a good idea. Now everybody's got a cigarette lighter plug that'll charge up a phone. But if you've got, like I was talking about, laptops, portable oxygen generators, the ability to plug in a drop cord to it and you can run a microwave out of your house. If you have one that's at least, I want to say 450 to maybe bigger, off that 300 power inverter, I ran a television, a DVD player, and that was the old style television with a tube, a DVD player, charged my laptop, charge my phone, everything I could plug into the thing. I had a power strip plugged into it, and so they do good. But if you want to drill, I know that I drilled with a drill bit through a 1/4-inch plate piece of steel for another driver, drilled a 1/2-inch hole in it with a bit that wasn't even the greatest bit, and it never faulted out on a I think it was 450, and that one had alligator clips that you had to clip to the batteries. The ones that plug into a cigarette lighter plug will do a television, anything like a VCR, DVD player, anything like that. If it's a flat screen TV, it'll do that even better. And if you have, and you can charge your phone at the same time, you can just load it out until it faults out. It'll let you know. And then every, say, about 15 or 30 minutes or so, start the car up, run it for a little bit, the alternator will charge it back up, and you're good. And I put a link up to the one at Scotty Kilmer's. I'll put all those links up again, you know, that super capacitor one. But they've got them that are not just the super capacitor type, that are cheaper. And then you get a Kodiak system. I put that link up on that other one. It's a big, you charge it first and then it gives you power later. So you got to be on top of it. But as far as a power inverter from your car is a generator if you just use it right. It'll transfer and invert power from direct current to alternating current like a house. And even though it says 115, it's like the 110 outlet. And there's something going on that's kind of loud here. I don't know. I'm going to get out of here. They got bus routes through this place, and it's just kind of a mess where I'm at. Yeah, I mean, get a power inverter, get battery backups, and especially, you know, I mean, the people who are already hurting and have already died from it, they did not have any kind of a backup system. They trusted the power company to at least have oxygen to breathe. Maybe they didn't have money for any other way. You can't expect for people to already know this knowledge or to already have enough money to have already taken care of this before someone tries to trip the power on them. They could have had their family come and pick them up if they had more warning. That's the issue. And they still haven't cut the transmission lines. Why? Because on the other side of the mountain, there's all them rich people that want power. And they have not lost one drop of it. With that, I'm going to get off this thing. Y'all stay safe. Share my videos. Let people know. I'll put this in the playlist, too, of, you know, truth about PG&E power outage or whatever. And just tell them what's going on. And trying to give good info as I can. But they will not pay for your food. One man's already died. That was a minimum of one person. There could have been 50 or 100. It's just one family came forward and really made a lot of noise about it. And they cut off ham. Ham radio operators don't have repeater towers out there. That's crazy. It's almost like the only thing that would make sense of that, and there's one person that caused this mess about the ham, is that they don't want information getting out about something because it saves lives. Support ham. Ham supports you whether you know it or not. They work in the background while you're sleeping. And on the weekends, they run weather nets, you know, practice runs. So I'm going to get off this thing. I'll put a link up to everything I talked about. My links are always better in my videos anyhow. I'm just a truck driver. I'm just, you know, I'm a digital soldier, though. I'm going to tell you when I see something and that they're not reporting on the news or that you can possibly miss about what they said. They're not paying for your groceries. So y'all stay safe. I'm going to get off this thing. And hopefully this right here will be gone quickly, you know, because the fire departments, they're working hard. They're doing their job. I'm sure what people really want to see, instead of just seeing some interview with a PG&E person, what they really want to see is they want to see them go out there and talk to the fire departments and talk to the people that are swinging axes and actually shoveling dirt and stopping fires and physically fighting them with the suppression stuff, and ask them, say, hey, do you need a fire line plow? Do you need a different type of a suppression? Do you need a new truck? What types of things would you do to better manage this? Do they need to cut the right of ways? I'm telling you, if they set it up in your grid pattern and use fire line plows, there would never be an issue. They'd know right where the fire was. They could watch it full time and from satellite, you know. But they love their lush greenery until it turns so bad it's on fire, Bambi's running through the woods, and you die in it. So leaving your house to ashes just to save a couple trees is not smart. Y'all stay safe. I'm going to get off this thing, share my video. I'm out. That's all I got for you. Peace.